fellow stitchers. My name is Erin. Today is Tuesday, September 13th, and this is Flosstube number 2 of Stitches and Clicks, my Flosstube channel all about cross stitch. Welcome to everyone who is new, and thank you so much for coming back if you're returning since my first video. I was feeling truly welcome to this community with all the likes, subscribes, and comments that I received during my first video. So thank you so much. I did get some comments with some feedback, mainly that when I show my finished, what it's going to look like finished, if I could hold that up a little bit longer. So I am planning to do that as I show you my projects this week. It has been 2 weeks since my last video, which is what I was planning, and I plan to do just a normal floss tube this time instead of my whip parade, which I did the first time. If you're interested in seeing everything I stitch, I have 7 projects, which includes 5 whips, 2 new starts, and then I do have some haul to share with you if you are interested in sticking around for that. Last week was my birthday, so I got a lot of haul as part of my birthday. So let's just jump right into all of the projects. Tell you the important information, and I do have some doggy company today, so if you hear chewing on a bone or rattling, I will try to edit that out, but I do have some company this evening. So I am going to start with my model stitch. I am stitching for Brandy at Bestitch Me. She is opening her own store, or she did open her own store, and I am doing a model stitch for her. I am doing a daily 100 block on this particular project, so this one has quite a bit of progress for me, so I'm excited to see how this one's doing. I'm going to show you a picture of what it will look like finished here. I will show you what it looked like last time. And this is what it looks like now. And this is Farmer's Blessing by Silver Creek Samplers. And it is stitched on 32 count Ledger linen by Bestitch Me. I am doing all DMC. It does have some stitches for, or has some threads that are specialty, but this is all DMC, and I am doing 2/2 on this particular project. And as far as progress, I stitched on this for 14 days because I stitch on this every day. For the first thing I stitch on, I do a block. And I stitched 1,427 stitches, and I am currently at 2,782 stitches, and I am 15% complete. And I am really liking this one. I also did get comment that sometimes my pictures were a little blurry, so I am using a different video format. So let me know if it's better this time. So I added this whole row here, and then I'm coming across this row here. So I've got the hay here and the wagon cart, and you can see more of the house here since my last video. And yeah, I made quite a bit of progress on this one. So that is Farmer's Blessing by Silver Creek Samplers. This one I have just an Amazon, one of these bags you can get from Amazon, and I am just using one of these magnetic cable holders as a needle minder. I was using it to try to wrap my fabric, but for some of my bigger projects they just don't hold well, so I am now using them more as needle minders. So that was project number 1. Then I spin my wheel to find out what I'm going to stitch on next. So I am actually starting a new rotation with this video. So the first project that came up was Moonstone by Carolyn Manning Designs. And this is what it looked like when it's finished. This is what it'll look like, what it looked like last time. And this is what it looks like now. And this particular project, I am doing a page row at a time. So I added this bottom page row. And I am stitching this project on 36 count antique white even weave by Fabric Flair. And I am doing 2/2 with DMC. Maybe I should be holding it over here so I can look at the camera better. And on this project, I stitched 650 stitches, and I have stitched 1,950 so far for 5%. So not that far, but a lot better than some of my other projects that are my full coverage. So again, that is Moonstone by Carolyn Manning Designs. And this one is in a project bag I made myself. Some farm animals. And on the inside, it is kind of that barn, like the quilt patterns they put on barns. I thought that was pretty appropriate for this one. And I'm also, for this one, just using a magnetic cable tie as a needle minder. So not very exciting. That's project number 2. Project number 3 was another spin of my wheel. And this particular spin was Sampler of Stitches by the Drawn Threads. And this is what it'll look like when it's finished. This is what it looked like last time. And this is what it looks like now. And this one has a lot of specialty stitches, so it is a bit challenging at times. I do a lot of frogging on this one, some of these specialty stitches, many of them I've never done before, so I do end up doing a lot of frogging as I figure them out. And I did this D row. Let me just wrap it here. I just love how they, the D is all fancy and looks like scroll work. And there were quite a few specialty stitches on this one. If you look at the ABC, you can see it's like 1.5 the height of the others on that I've done so far. But I think, well, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 different specialty stitches on this one. So that was quite a bit. I might have actually missed one there. And there will be a dragonfly charm in this spot, but I'm going to go back and add all the beads and charms at the end. And you can buy these just in a 3-letter like this, or you can buy the whole alphabet. And I actually got the whole alphabet as a Christmas present from my mother-in-law. So this has been a lot of fun. And this one I am stitching on 30 count Mariner Map Legacy Linen. I'm doing 1/2 with NPI silk. So it is very thin. but it really looks nice. I would definitely normally stitch with two strands and 30 count, but I'm doing what it calls for. And I am doing 2 over 2, depending, obviously the specialty stitches are what it calls for, but for all the cross stitch, I am doing 1 over 2. And I learned about this one from Stitchin' Mommy, and she is doing this, she's planning to finish it this year. There's no way I'm going to finish it this year, but that is totally fine with me. So I'm not really counting on this one because it's got so many specialty stitches, but just looking at the alphabet, if you take 4 letters out of 26, I'm about 15% complete. So this particular project bag is from Quilted Gremilkin. I've had it for a long time. I can't quite remember. But if you watched my whip parade, a lot of the project bags I showed you were coffee themed. And I had bought this one before, and surprisingly it is coffee themed. And it has this really cute coffee mug. So that is Sampler of Stitches by the Drawn Thread. Then for my birthday, instead of spinning the wheel for a new start, I actually picked a new start. And I had heard about this artist named Jenny Parks from Kelly at Animal Instincts. I will link her below. I love watching her channel, so if you haven't watched her before, I would really encourage you to do so. And this is Outlander by Jenny Parks and charted by Gecko Rouge. And this is a new start, so I don't have any progress to show you, but this is what it'll look like when it's finished. And I just got a tiny start because I did a page row, but here it is. Let me get, I do have parked threads hanging here, but this is the first page row of The Outlander by Jenny Parks, charted by Gecko Rouge. And Kelly is doing Firefly by Jenny Parks, and she's got 2 of the cats done. And I was just really impressed with how detailed and, I don't want to say lifelike, but lifelike the cats look in hers. So I would really encourage you to check them out. I also have ordered Cat of the Rings, but that has not come yet. And that was my birthday present from my husband, was the kit for Cat of the Rings, because I just really love these. And this is stitched on 25 count Easy Grid, and it came all kitted up. It is DMC floss, and I'm using Pattern Keeper, but Pattern Keeper didn't read the symbols very well. It read like a third of them or a half of them, so I'm having to import some of the colors, but the kit is very well put together, and I'm excited. I have 2 more of these in my wish list. I don't really think I need to stitch 4 different patterns of kitties dressed up as characters, but I'm a little obsessed with them at the moment, so you may see more in the future. And this one I am stitching 1 over 1. It actually calls for 2 over 1, but I really don't like how bulky 2 over 1 on 25 count is, so I'm doing 1 over 1. I stitched on this for 2 days. I did 466 stitches, and I'm at 0.41% complete. This particular project is in another Amazon bag, so not much to show, but I have this Mad for Minders needle minder of the Flintstones in their car. I just love it. So that is my needle minder for this one. So then I went back to spinning my wheel, and I spun Garden Prelude by Mirabilia, and this is what it'll look like when it's finished. This is what it looked like last time. And this is what it looks like now. Let's see, I've got quite a bit done on this one. I'm doing the first page and I'm doing rows, but for this particular one, I did this, I wrapped and did this border. So I didn't do quite as much as a page row, but I brought this all the way around. So on this page, I just have to bring the flowers across, and then there's a little bit of her arm and the violin up here. So I've made quite a bit of progress on the first page, or the page that I started with on this one. Again, this is my first Mirabilia. I am working on a Nora Corbett that I started before this one, but I am just in love with Mirabilia, just like so many other people. And I am stitching this one on 32 count natural brown linen by Wickelt, and I am doing 2/2 with the called for flosses. So mostly DMC so far. There are some specialties up here, and then I will do all the beading at the end. So I worked on this one for 4 days. I did 244 stitches. And again, I wasn't really counting this one for a while. I'm now using Stitch Pal to track my progress for the paper patterns especially, but I wasn't counting, so I can't tell you. I will just say when I finish this page, I'm 50% done. So I could just show this one all day. I know there's no face. And now I will have to decide. I'm thinking about doing the skin 1/1. For my Nora Corbett, I did 2/2, and it actually still looks really good, but I'd kind of like to try the 1/1. This project bag is from Lake Wind Studio on Etsy. It is Pretty Birds. I got this one for Christmas last year, and then it just has a brown in the inside here. And then as far as the needle minder, I believe I am just using, oh no, this is one my sister made for me. She just took a pin and cut it off and then glued magnets on the back. It's a pile of dogs. I also have a pile of cats that you'll see at some point. So that's Garden Prelude by Mirabilia. We're getting there, 16-ish minutes. The next one I worked on was Pandemic by Long Dog Samplers. So I spun the wheel for this one. And this is what it'll look like when it's finished. This is what it looked like last time. And I added just this 20 by 20 section here. So not a lot. I'm doing 20 by 20 sections all the way across, and then I will go back to the beginning of the row when I finish all the way across and do 20 by 20 blocks across. So this is the second half. As you saw last time, I have done this half completely. But this is what I was focusing on here. So again, I'm doing this in sulky. This is on 36 count Winter Moon Edinburgh linen. I'm doing 1/2 with sulky threads, and I have a blend that I'm doing the main pattern, and then the outer border I'm doing in a dark blue, the inner border I'm doing in a teal, and then the birds and animals I'm going to be doing in this darker purple. So if you look over here, you can see the head of these birds in that purple as well. So this is, I'm loving how this is coming out on this fabric with these colors. I love blues, purples, teals. So this is really coming out nice for me. I actually only stitched on this for one day to get that 20 by 20 section. And I am, that was 212 stitches in the block, the 20 by 20 section. I've stitched 3,688 stitches for 4.77%. So a long way to go on this one. I did get this one when it was free at the beginning of the pandemic, but I did not start it until I think late last year. Actually, I started it, yeah, end of last year, December of last year. So that's Pandemic by Long Dog Samplers. And then the last project I started was a new start. Right now I am spinning my new start wheel once a week. If you did not watch my first video, I turned 50 last week, and I am going up to 50 whips by the end of the year for my 50th birthday. So to do that, to get there, I'm currently at 35 or 35. To get to 50 by the end of the year, I'm doing about one a week. So this one is Market Stall by Ciro Marchetti, charted by Heaven and Earth Designs. This is what it'll look like when it's finished. Obviously I don't have a what it looked like last time because there isn't a last time. And here's where it is now. This was probably the most boring start I have had on a Haid in my many Haids. It is 3 colors total in this whole page row. I have not actually ever had that happen. It's going to be gorgeous, as you saw, but it was a lot of black. So it went quick, but it doesn't look like much yet, does it? Looks like black and brown. So I hope you guys are seeing these better than the last time. Like I said, I'm using a different feature on my video. Let me know if it's better or not, and I can go back to the other way. So that is Market Stall by, I think it's Ciro Marchetti, charted by Heaven and Earth Designs. I am doing this on 18 count white Aida by Design Works. I am doing 2 strands over 1 fabric thread. I have found that I either do 18 count with 2 strands or 25 count with 1 strand for my full coverage, and it just kind of depends on what I feel like, whether I do that or the size. The really big ones I go to 25 count just to make the fabric a little bit smaller. This is another needle minder from Mad for Minders, and it says, "Women belong in all places where decisions are being made." I love that quote. And the bag is an Amazon bag. So Market Stall, I did 800 stitches, which was a page row. I worked on it for 3 days, and I'm currently at 0.2%. So that's all my projects that I worked on over the last 2 weeks. I am going to go through my haul. So if you're interested in my haul, again, it is more than usual because my birthday was in there, and it was pretty much cross stitch, and more cross stitch haul. And it actually hasn't all come in yet. 123 Stitch, I tell you, really loves me. I'm sure they love a lot of you, but they probably love me. All right, so let's get into the haul. All right, so the first haul I have is I actually participated in Be Stitch Me's Friday night fight night a few weeks ago and went a little crazy. I had only gone through that once before. I am in her Fabric of the Month Club, and in her Facebook group, you can do Friday Night Fight Night. She posts a bunch of fabrics, and it's first come, first serve. So I'm just going to go through my haul from that one, and there are some duplicates, so I will only show the one. So the first one was, and a lot of these don't have names, so it was 277. This is 28 count linen. I don't usually buy a lot of 28 count, but I thought it'd be good to have one. So this was color 277, and it is a lot greener blue than it's coming across on the video. It is a blue, really pretty blue. It looks pretty gray in the camera, unfortunately. So that's the first one. And I got the same color in 32 count linen, and they are pretty much the same. So no difference there. Not sure if you're seeing more of the blue with it folded up like that. Then I got 36 count linen in, again, just a random number 265. And this one is actually not too bad. It's a little bit pinker than this. It's coming across pretty brown, but that's that one. And then I got two 32 count Luganas in the same color because they're pretty neutral, and it's pretty similar to the last one. It actually might be the same color, but it's coming across a little bit different on this fabric. And again, it's a little bit pinker than it's showing up on the camera, but it is a brownish neutral. And then I got 32 count linen in, again, another neutral. It was a neutral night. There was a couple brighter ones, but they were a little bit louder than I like. So this one's a little beigeier than the last one. And then this one is the only one that had a name. This is 32 count Jobelin in the colorway Scroll, and it is creamy natural. And that one is actually coming across pretty well. So that is my Friday Night Fight Night haul. I think I'm calling it Stash Enhancement instead of haul. I don't know. I like that better. So this is my Stash Enhancement. The next one was my August Fabric of the Month from Be Stitch Me. I think everybody's probably gotten it. It's almost time to get September's. But if for whatever reason you haven't gotten yours, maybe you're too far away for shipping to have gotten to you, you may want to look away. And I get 32 count linen in mine. And this is Water Nymph. And I am in the club that goes back and forth, neutral and colored. So, and that is really coming out pretty well. It's maybe a little tealier, if that's a word, than it's coming across. But I actually love how it's kind of more neutral in the middle and then gets more color on the outside. Might be good for mirabilia. I have a tendency to think I need to find the fabric that a pattern calls for, and I'm trying to get a little bit more adventurous in my fabric choices. So that is that. And then the last thing before I get into my birthday haul, I am working on Forever and Ever by Cottage Garden Samplings, which is the first in the Songbird series. And I got the second one. It is Merry and Bright. And I have most of the specialty flosses as well. But I think I have all the flosses, but I couldn't get the fabric. Again, because it calls for, I think, Dove linen. And that's currently out of stock at 123 Stitch. I do not have a local needlework shop very close to me. I think there's one in a town in Illinois called Winthrop Harbor. But I haven't ventured down there. It's about an hour away from me. I live in Racine, Wisconsin. So I do most of my shopping online. But I just fell in love. And there's a little bit of a funny about this. I've been watching Flosstube for quite a while. I'm not into certain things, or I'll look at something and it will kind of bother me, and then all of a sudden it won't. So one of the things that I've always found, I don't know, maybe there's a really good history. Sorry, my dog just knocked the camera. There must be a reason, but maybe not. If anybody knows. But what's with this tiny, tiny house in all of these? So at first, I couldn't get past these tiny, tiny houses in proportion to the pattern. And then I fell in love with the patterns, and now I'm collecting them all. So that's an example of one where something will bother me for a while. And I'm like, I think in a couple of these, the houses are actually like in the tree or the flowers. So that just kind of a funny thing about me, I guess. The house kind of seemed out of place to me. And then I fell in love with the patterns and I want to stitch them all. So if you ever hear me say I don't do something, just wait a while and I'll probably be doing it. I don't know if any of you are like that, but that's an example. So I'm not really into reproduction samplers. I really like more of the modern. I'm not a big fan of alphabets, but you'll see, if you saw my Whip Parade, I'm stitching Noah's Ark by Teresa Wentzler, which has an alphabet, and one of my haul my birthday haul is an alphabet. Actually, I have one more thing before I get into my birthday. I went on a shopping spree, I guess. I got this heirloom stocking book off of Facebook Stash Unload. And if any of you watch Handwork Maniac, Brenda, she's one of my favorites. She did a lot of these stockings for her family, and I always love them. You can buy the patterns individually on 123 Stitch. I think they're by Cooler Design Studio, and they're, I think, like $18 a piece. But I got this as a real good deal on a Facebook Stash Unload. So it's got, I think, nine of the stockings, and I'm planning to stitch one for myself, one for my husband, one for my sister, and one for my brother-in-law. But it'll probably take me, again, the rest of my life to get through them all. But I bought that book, and then I did buy, it calls for Mushroom Lugana. So I bought the Mushroom Lugana to make the 4 stockings. So I won't show that. All right, so I went on a shopping spree with my birthday gifts. So I will just go through those. I got myself a DMC thread card, and I got the one that has the fabric. And this actually came in really handy. I'm trying to match the DMC flosses in my Gecko Rouge kit so for Pattern Keeper, so I can get the right colors in there. And this came in really handy. So really liking that. And then I got Beachcomber by Carolyn Manning Designs, which looks like this. And I got the fabric to go with it. So this one is now in my new start wheel. So you might see this one in the near future. I think I'm up to 30 in my new start wheel. I need to stop and stitch on what I have, but I definitely have the hobby of collection on top of stitching. I like going through my stash. My husband understands I will never stitch everything I have. This is a Luca S kit. This is one of their new ones. It's called Lavender Field, and I love, love, love the purples, and I love the smell of lavender. So that is my Luca S kit. I'm currently working on one now and really enjoying it, so I added another one to my stash. The next one is another Silver Creek Samplers. I don't get to keep the one I'm working on now, but really enjoying it. And I got Through the Storms, and this one says, no relationship is all sunshine, but two people can share one umbrella and walk through the storms together. And I thought that was a really nice saying. So I have all of the floss, most of the floss to do this one as well. And then I got, here's the sampler that I didn't think I'd want to do samplers, but this one I've seen a few people stitch. It's Huckleberry Farm from the Blue Flower. And I'm going to do this one on French Lilac instead of the called for. And just love the colors in this one. I don't know, something about this one I really liked, even though I'm not a big fan of houses and samplers. I added both in this one. I've seen a few people stitching this, and I'm trying to remember now, but I've been enabled by a few different Flosstubers on this one. And I have all of the floss on this one. I ordered the fabric, but I'm still waiting for the fabric to come. The next one is another Carolyn Manning design. This one is called Something About the Sea. And I really enjoy working on these Carolyn Manning designs. So this one I'm waiting for the fabric. And then I got, this is a Cooler Classic Charts Santa Christmas Sampler. And I collect Santas, or I used to collect Santas. I think I have enough now. I just put them out every Christmas. But I thought this one would be fun to kind of add to my collection because it's so many different Santas here. And then the last part of haul is I'm collecting the rest of the Songbird series. So I have 1 and 2. One I'm working on as a whip. One I showed you just a while ago. This is 3, Winter Wisdom. 4, Promise of Spring. 5, Bluebird of Happiness. That's the one with the house in the tree. Summer Bliss also has the house in the greenery. There's Beauty and Simplicity. The house is coming out of the flower. And Dream. And I actually love the pumpkin house. And I have a few that are still coming, and then one that isn't currently available. So I just have one more that I have to buy. I have a few more. So I think I have 3 more coming, and then I have 1 more I have to wait for it to come in. And then I'll have all that. But these are just the charts. So that's my haul. I know that was quite a bit. I have part of my birthday haul, but it's all just fabric that was on back order, so I'm waiting for it to come in from 123 Stitch. So I thought I would just share a couple of updates. If you watched my whip parade, you'll know the clicks for my channel comes from, I'm a dog trainer. I got certified as a dog trainer. I do clicker positive reinforcement training with all my dogs. So I thought I'd just share maybe some dog updates. It's actually really cute. All 3 of my dogs are laying on the floor around me. We had an agility trial at our kennel club this past weekend. I was the trial secretary, so I spent my whole weekend working that trial. I really enjoy doing that. And we had over 7 inches of rain on Sunday, and it's an outdoor trial. So we got really, really wet. And my 10-year-old English Shepherd, Geo, actually ran in the trial, and he did really well on Saturday. It was probably his last trial. He is 10, and he has to jump about 20 inches, which is a little bit high for a 10-year-old dog. So it's probably his last trial, but he did well on Saturday. On Sunday, I don't think he enjoyed running in the rain. So, yeah, he did really well on Saturday. And so that's my dog update for this 2 weeks. And then for plans, I'm planning to continue spinning my wheel until I get through all my projects, and I will have a new start once a week, and all I do there is spin my new start wheel. And we are planning to go camping for a week, so I'm hoping to have a lot of stitching time. I take a lot of my projects, so I've already spun the wheel for enough for my camping trip, and spun for my new start, so I'm hoping to get through a lot of projects before I see you guys again. So if you are still hanging out with me, thank you so much. That is all I have to share today. I hope you get a lot of stitching time over the next 2 weeks until I come back, and I'll see you soon. Bye.